And now I'd like to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Vardeman, our event chairs for this evening.
Thank you all for being here tonight. My husband Ryan and I met the Adams. We met Deb and Ken at a couples retreat in 2011. And that was the first time that we heard about their daughter's vision and paper for water. They even had us folding at the retreat. And I remember I was just in awe that their two daughters, who were 6 and 8 at the time when they started this organization, upon learning that girls were unable to go to school because they had to haul water all day, and that a child dies every 15 seconds from unclean water, they decided that that was an injustice. And they were going to do something about it, and they were going to make a change. And I think at that age, I mean, even as an adult, I mean, to take on something like that is so powerful. And they are changing the world, and they have changed the world, and they continue to. And as of today, they have raised over $2 million and have helped fund over 200 around the world. And they spent a portion of last year going to see some of those wells that they were able to build. It's just a beautiful story. And tonight, the theme of this event is change the number. And by being here tonight, you are changing the number. And each one of us here has the ability to do that in some way. And so it's really inspiring if you know Deb and talk to them. They have so many amazing stories, inspiring stories of how so many generous people have been able to help them achieve and further this goal. And one such story and one example is a beautiful family that is here tonight, which is the Willows. Now, where is Ashley? I've actually not been able to meet Ashley, but Ashley and I talked for an hour and a half
She's right
on the phone, and I have to tell you, their story, you should hunt her down after, could be a Lifetime movie. It is so inspirational. They have 7 children, 2 of which are from China that they adopted, and their story is powerful. Literally, they could make a movie about it. But tonight, for time's sake, I'm just going to talk about how God has used their story to weave into paper for water. So her husband, who's not with us tonight, Larry, he was reading the Wall Street Journal, and there was a tiny little blip on the side of the paper, and it mentioned paper for water. Ironically, it was just an article that an executive was asked, what was the favorite thing in her office? And she said it was a paper for water ornament. And so this article said, if you make a donation of paper for water, we'll send an ornament. And so her husband, knowing how charitable his wife is and the causes that she cares about, went online, made a donation, and sent an ornament. And so he travels, they own a business, and he was in China, and so she gets this box at their office, this big box with no notations on it, completely blank, and she's actually ready to open it. It's a running joke, and open that box, I don't know, and so she opens it, and there's this beautiful, big origami ornament. But there's no note on it, there's no nothing. And so she has no idea who sent it to her, where it came from, and her husband's in China. And so she's perplexed. And as she's throwing out the box and all the confetti inside, she sees a note. And all it says on it is paperforwater.org. Nothing else. And so she goes online, looks it up, and this is 5 years ago. And she looks it up and she's intrigued. She's intrigued about their story and what they're doing and the difference that they're making. And their family owns a business, they're very charitable, and so they have a 6 months of giving every year, where they, which I think is so amazing, where they ask their employees, find out what charities they care about, and ask them to do random acts of kindness and support those charities. And so through this, last year, they raised $49,000 for 14 charities with their employees at their office. And so they received for that an award. And that award asked them, what is a charity that they care about? And so Ashley says, paper for water, because that who gave them the award wants to give back. So that was their first donation and first interaction with paper for water. Now Ashley's been watching them for 5 years. Just such an amazing story. So then fast forward, her son Luke loves origami, and the girls host a camp this past summer for folding paper. And they come from Oklahoma, they live in Oklahoma. They bring their son Luke, and Luke and Trinity hit it off. Ashley describes her son as the girl version of Trinity. The boy version of Trinity, I'm sorry. The boy version of Trinity, full of life, and she's like, they're just thick as thieves. And he loves origami, and they just hit it off. And she's talking about Deb and how they have similar experiences, and they love traveling, and it's just such an amazing story. So then, Luke goes back to Oklahoma, and is now starting his own paper for water at his school. He goes, gets permission, and now they're gonna have this program where they fold monthly, and he's gonna give the money back to Paper for Water, and him and Trinity are pen pals. It's just so amazing. So then, they're gonna come here. So now they're one of the sponsors from Paper for Water, and they're gonna come from Oklahoma, and she's gonna bring her whole office here. And Deb says, well, you know what, we have these two amazing nuns who have done some of the most beautiful ornaments on the tree, and they live in Oklahoma. And so she said, would you mind picking up these ornaments? And so, as Ashley tells me, she says she lives way out in the country. She's like, all right, I'll find them, but thinking it's gonna be far off or somewhere she's gonna have to travel. It's a block from her house, 1 block. So these two nuns who have been consistently over time done so much for Paper Water, creating all these ornaments, live a block from Ashley. I mean, honestly, it gave me chills. I'm like, you know, there's just no way that all of that could happen, right? I mean, God just wove all of that together. And so now, these nuns may help Luke at his school teach the origami classes. It's such a powerful, beautiful story. And I think for me, you know, it says that we don't have to have the answers. But Katherine and Isabelle, they didn't have the answers. They just believed, and they wanted to make a change, and they wanted to make a difference. And I think through this story, there's no other way. It's God. I mean, God can weave things that we cannot even possibly imagine together to achieve something beautiful. So we don't have to have the answers. We just have to believe and want to make a change. And that's exactly what Katherine and Isabelle have done, and that's exactly why we're here tonight, for such a powerful impact that they've made. And so we would like to honor the Willem office, and we have a special gift for them, and we are going to allow Luke and Trinity, the new kids who are pushing the torch forward, to deliver those books. So everyone that is part of, I'm not sure anybody, but is with the Willems, would you please come to the stage? And Trinity and Luke, would you please come to the stage and deliver these? Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for your support. Such an amazing story. This book is Philanthropy Misunderstood, and it's stories about philanthropy from all over the world. As I said, and Paper for Water is highlighted in this beautiful book. So please come forward. Hi. All right, guys. Each of the books has their name on it. It's with hand autographed by an author. That's a little bit of
Nolan.
yes, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing how this continued relationship is going to go. So now, last Saturday, CNN came to film Paper for Water at the Adams House, and that coverage will be aired in December on the Impact Your World show in early December. So be on the lookout for that. Now, I want to hand over the microphone to the two amazing girls who started all of this. They saw injustice and made a decision to change the world and to do something about it. Katherine and Isabelle.
So good evening. Thank you for that wonderful prayer and introduction. We are so grateful to Mr. and Mrs. Vardeman for all their hard work and support to help us with this event.
We would like to thank our incredible event sponsors, Wilspec Technologies, Colleen and David Hayes, Mainstay Legal, Risk Theory, Susan and Dr. Scott Connor, and Lemmy Shine. We are so grateful for your support and for the support of our other sponsors, our host committee, and our auction donors. This event would not be possible without you.
Tonight we are so excited to be celebrating 8 years of changing the number of the world water crisis together. Thank you so much for all of your support over the years. Since the start of Paper for Water in 2011, we have changed a lot of numbers. When we began, a child died every 15 seconds from lack of clean water. Now that number is every 60 seconds, a huge improvement. When we started, over 1 billion people lacked access to clean water. Now it is only 844 million people. This is still a huge number, but with your help, we are hoping to reduce it even more. We have not only changed international numbers, but numbers right here in the US. 4 years ago, we started a project in New Mexico on the Smith Lake Navajo Reservation. It was a daunting project with more than 250 homes without access to clean water. This Christmas, we are planning on finishing the last homes. This project would not have been possible without your support.
Not only has Paper for Water affected thousands of lives with the gift of clean water, we have impacted countless people here locally. Through Paper for Water folding events and other volunteer opportunities, thousands of people have had the chance to make an impact in the lives of people around the world.
Last year, a volunteer came to our 7th annual event and got inspired. This young man went home and put pen to paper and came up with a plan to fund a water project in Kenya. He went to his Cistercian high school classmates at their junior ring ceremony and convinced them all to join him in a project to raise $20,000 to fund a water project in a boys' school. His project is called Well Done 2020.
This young man is named Travis Nolan, and for the last year, Travis has been one of our hardest working volunteers. He has taught origami and sold ornaments at countless events. He has done presentations at large corporate events and organized our first ever origami bug contest. In addition to volunteering for Paper for Water, Travis runs another origami organization called The Droid, and in the last 4 years has volunteered over 600 hours at the Whiteside National History Museum in Seymour, Texas. He can be found multiple weeks a year at paleontology digs. Because as devoted as he is to origami and clean water, dinosaurs are his true passion.
We want to recognize the immense amount of work and effort Travis has devoted to Paper for Water in 2019 with our first annual Youth Volunteer of the Year Award. Travis, can you please come to the front and receive your award?
Tonight, I would like to tell a story from the very beginning of Paper for Water. When we started Paper for Water on November 3rd, 2011, we had the lofty goal of raising around $500 to $1,000 to partially fund a well in Ethiopia. After raising almost $800 the first night, we decided that we could raise more than we originally planned, so we raised our goal to $9,200, which would completely fund a well. As we began fundraising, we came across an opportunity for matching donation from Lemmy Shine. The match was only for donations to Living Water International, who we had just begun working with, and only for water projects in Ethiopia. It is rare that matching donations are so specific, but when we realized that we were a perfect match, we were convinced that God had a hand on our project. It was because of this matching donation that we decided to continue the project after the first month. We are so grateful for Lemmy Shine's support that inspired us to grow Paper for Water into what it is today. And we are so grateful that the CEO of Lemmy Shine drove all the way from Austin with 2 of his children, Ian and Addie, and is right here in the audience with us. Can everyone give a huge round of applause for Curtis Eggmeyer? is to see you again and to thank you for motivating us and inspiring us year after year.
Paper for Water has had an incredible year so far. We decorated the trees for the 4 seasons and we're on Good Morning America.
We did an origami installation at the Lemishine headquarters. We took a group of girls out to the Navajo Reservation this past summer. We hosted a science, philanthropy, and art camp at the 4 Seasons, and we participated in the amazing Earth X. We received the Youth Social Innovation Award from Ernst & Young, and we have our ornaments in Neiman Marcus stores for this holiday season for the 3rd year in a row. And just last week, we filmed for CNN, so make sure to watch for us on TV in December. Most importantly, this year, we eclipsed the $2 million mark in total funds raised.
I find asking for money uncomfortable. Encouraging people to give more money to charity is difficult. But when you see firsthand how transformational clean water is to communities, to young women and children, and to health and sanitation, you begin to realize that this isn't just about giving more money to charity. When we improve the living conditions and the health of individuals in developing countries, it decreases, in the long run, how much charity we have to give them, because everyone wants to be self-sufficient. And with clean water, they are one step closer. So, I want to convince you that this is an investment, not just in their future, but in our future as the global leaders of the world. I want to earn your money. I want you to see your contribution as an investment in a child's life, an investment in this child's health, their education, and their happiness. So if you believe as strongly as I do, pick up a pen, fill out a form, and help us change the number.
Thank you so much for coming tonight.